What's up? This is Travis Barker, and you're watching HipHopWire.com.
It's very, very hip-hop. Like, what's your relationship as far as like hip-hop? Why did you feel like it needed to be like mostly hip-hop as opposed to maybe half and half or something like that?
I kind of didn't want to do what I do with Blink or Transplants on this album because I already do it there. So it felt like I just went off to do it by myself. You know what I mean? Because that's not the case. So I kind of wanted to stay away from that because I already touched those, you know, with that kind of like music with the other bands. So for me, it was 6 years ago when I started the album, and I wasn't in Blink. You know, Blink had broke up, Transplants had broke up, and the majority of my time I spent playing with DJ AM. And then if I wasn't playing with him, I was playing with Short, or I was playing with Quick, or T.I., or you know what I mean, just playing here and there. So that's just what I had been doing at the time. And a lot of the times I'd do a remix, and then someone would go, you know, hey, we're gonna trade you a verse, you know, for the remix you just did for me. So, you know, I just start building tracks like, oh, this sounds dope for that verse that he gave me or whatever. And then next thing you know, I have like real songs that are accumulating, you know what I mean? And I just never looked back, you know. It's just something that I dove into, you know.
You've always been a hip-hop fan, even growing up, or?
I loved hip-hop since the first time I heard it, you know. Like, same time I was introduced to, like, Van Halen or, like, Metallica or Slayer, I was introduced to, like, Public Enemy and Beastie Boys and Run DMC and Houdini, you know. So I never, like, listened to one more than the other, you know. It was just more natural, like, drum machines basically, you know, accounted for like a drummer in hip-hop, you know, to where like rock bands or punk rock bands needed a drummer, so it's naturally where I fit.
And you have a wide variety of different hip-hop artists on the album, from veterans to up-and-coming, from all different regions. Are these just, like, how did you choose to put people on the album? Are these just your personal favorites, or?
A lot of it was people I knew, you know, or people I had worked with in the past. So I kind of kept it like that instead of like going and asking someone I didn't know, hey man, you know, my name's Travis, I want to get you on my album. I didn't really want to go through all that, and it didn't seem natural. So like Bun, for instance, like I made a beat for him like 7 years ago. That was like a bonus track on one of his albums where he had asked me to, and it was like, it was a challenge and an opportunity I couldn't deny. And then once I did that, I guess it gave me some confidence to keep on doing it. And, you know, here I am.
Okay, and of all the people that you work with for this project, who was the most fun to collaborate with?
Man, everyone was fun in their own way. Like, Rizzo was a blast. Like, he came in playing guitar and, like, jamming with me and stuff. That was really cool. Like, everyone I had, like, a cool experience if I had the time to share, you know? Like, everyone was really cool. Like, Bun does his verses in 3 hours, you know, from the time I send him the song. Like, he already sends it back to me, like, before I wake up. Like, he's such, like, a master at his craft, man.
Are there any major differences between working with hip-hop artists and, like, you know, your former group members with Blink-182 or Transplants? Like, is it different with the hip-hop crowd, like the studio sessions or anything?
I guess so, yeah. You know, like, it seems like rock music takes a little longer. Like, it's more like, I don't know, it's just it's a different process, you know? And you would never, like, it'd be hard to make a rock album and have 30 guests on it. Whereas, like, this just worked out, you know, like you know, giving verses, handing verses to everybody, you know? So it's just entirely different. Both are super fun and super rad, but just different.
And there's always been kind of a love affair between rock and hip-hop music, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like, your famous Stars and Straps, like, that's been something that's embraced by the hip-hop audience, you know, as part of our fashion. Do you have any ideas on why that is? Like, why hip and rock?
I don't know. You know, when I started Famous, I started it because it was 11 years ago, and it was sort of like, if you wore one thing, you were that. Like, if you wore, like, a Quicksilver, it was like, people were like, oh, you're a surfer, you know, or whatever. If you wore, like, Rockaware, like, oh, you're hip-hop, or, you know what I mean? And I just wanted something that's, like, kind of blurred all the lines, and it was for everybody. It was more like a lifestyle. Like you could be any color, any shape, like any size, but it's for everybody, you know. And that was my goal with it, you know. And you know, from the day we started, we had like, you know, everything from like skateboarders to like graffiti artists to like, you know, like rappers, like punk rock bands, you know. And it was always, you know, always meant for everyone.
But as far as like the two genres of music go, they've always like gone hand in hand. Do you have any ideas on why that is?
I feel like it has like a lot of the same energy, you know, like the same like rebellious like angst sometimes, like in punk rock you see in hip hop, you know, like it's the same thing, or just, you know, just being wild and not really giving a fuck. Like both genres love that. You know what I mean? So that was just a good energy. I mean, that's why, like, from however long ago, like, you know, you would see like Aerosmith and Run DMC rock together, or Anthrax and Public Enemy or whatever. You know what I mean? Wu-Tang and Rage. Like it made sense. Like those bands could tour together, and the crowd will like something about both bands. You know?
And I know you stay on the drums, but have you ever thought about getting on the mic, whether it be for rock or even for rapping, anything?
Nah, I feel like even with drums, I feel like for me, I have so much more stuff I want to conquer. You know, I feel like I'm barely like the tip of the iceberg right now. You know, so no.
And then one last question: were there any up and coming artists that you didn't get a chance to work with that you would like to work with, specifically up and coming?
Not really, man. Everyone, like, you know, I guess the most up and coming artist on my album would probably be Yella. But we see him, he's like in a good position. He's gonna do fine, yeah. Like, but that's the only upcoming like really artist. But you know, it was like really natural for him. Like we had, you know, once we got into a studio together, it was a wrap. Like we're eventually maybe gonna do an EP together. Cool.
When is that supposed to come out? You've just been talking about it.
We just started talking about it. We have like 3 songs in the can, you know, so it'd just be a matter of probably like getting like 3 or 4 more. What's up, this is Travis Barker, and you're watching hiphopwire.com.